Have you ever wondered about those who dream of a better life versus those who create it? Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals? Welcome to Create It Now with your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to put your dreams into motion and create it now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now let's bring on the host and create it now. Here is Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Welcome to the Create It Now radio show. You're listening to Jonathan Stone and myself, Dawn Elizabeth. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Just a little under the weather today.
You are.
I am. But I'm here. I showed up.
You did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't want you to be alone the day before Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Very nice of you. I give thanks to you for that.
See, all I do is give.
Right?
But I don't want to give you this.
Yeah, please don't. If anyone here at this station gets sick, we're going to all blame you.
Yeah, that's what I tried to tell our engineer, Mike, over there. Don't try to kiss me today. Because I don't know, it's Thanksgiving. He gets really happy.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful.
I just got the look.
He's giving a look.
Here he is. You're a nice guy, and I really like doing your show. But I'm going to tell you something. First of all, I'm a married guy. Second of all, if I was going to kiss anybody in this studio or kiss anybody or be kissed anybody, it would be to the lady to your right, not you to, or your left. I guess. Yeah, there we go.
I was like, there's nobody over there. So
well, I was looking at stage left. I'm used to the stage, so we were at stage right or left or whatever. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mike.
Nice.
He so wants to kiss me. It's weird. Kind of creeps me out, but I like the guy. He's a good guy. And he's got a great show too.
Right? Yeah. So today we're talking about being prepared.
Yes.
And being prepared
like a Boy Scout.
Yes. When market changes, and how we can make sure that we're ready for whatever comes along in business. And I was thinking earlier, it really goes along with, your exit strategy.
Right.
Because sometimes your exit strategy comes suddenly and you don't know what it is. But being prepared along the way, whatever does come up, you're ready for it.
Ready for it. Yeah, that's why I like when we talk about starting with your exit strategy and working backwards.
Right.
Achieving that goal. And at that point, knowing what to do.
Right.
Because I even know I have a problem with that, and we've discussed that. It's like you hit your goal, and now what?
Yeah, what's next? Yeah, exactly. So kind of knowing that end game before and work your way back. And one thing, too, a lot of times with business, a lot of people say that they want their own business, but can your business run without you?
Right.
Because what if, even though today we're going to be talking about market changes and how you can be prepared for those, you got to think about it too. What if you were going to be out? Like I was thinking, because you're sick today, like what if it put you out for 3 weeks? Right. Could your business continue to run without you or not?
There's actually a saying. It's in the dictionary. I can't remember. It's about being hit by a bus. And that's why people take also Keyman insurance in companies. If something happens to your business partner or something. But in technology, it's really big now. And that's why when you have a CTO, you always have other people that know the technology.
Right.
Because if your main guy, who's your programmer and architect, something happens to him, he gets hit by a bus. It's actually, and they do use this term.
Right.
What are you going to do? If nobody else knows about technology and they're all business people, you're stuck.
Right. So even though that's not an exact market change, that's still the same idea as being ready for those things that could happen and making sure you're prepared for it. Otherwise, the business isn't going to thrive. It's going to go down. Yeah. And it's going to sink a lot faster than it rose.
Yeah, it's really important, like you said, to make sure your business is self-sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
Without you, that you have the key people in place. Because, what happens if there is an emergency, like you said?
Yeah, so you want to be prepared for that so that it can continue to run. One of the things that I gravitated to early on in business was somebody who was saying that if you can leave your business and go on vacation for 6 months and come back and it's better than when you left, you know that you have a well-run business.
Or you don't come back.
Yeah, or you don't have to come back.
If my business is better when I'm not around and I'm on vacation and it's making me more money,
right?
I'm going to be like, I think I need to stay on vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is perfect point right there. So yeah, I mean, just being prepared for that and knowing and making sure you're ready for it.
Right, but that goes along with having an amazing team.
Exactly.
And being a good leader of the ship. Right. I mean, if something happens to the captain of the ship, does the ship just stop, or can
the team keep going?
Keep going and make it to port?
Right. And that goes along with where we always talk about making sure you don't have to do it on your own. Right. And this is a really big reason as to why, is because more heads are better than one. There's always that check and balance. There's somebody to cover if anything goes wrong. And also, too, with different market changes that can happen, just being educated about all the information. It's hard to know it all yourself.
Right. Well, it's actually a good point, because a good friend of mine, a guy named Jeff Marks, who wrote Avenue Q, one of the co-creators of the show Avenue Q, people come up to him all the time, and I've witnessed this, and they'll say to him, I have an idea for a play, but I don't want to tell anybody. And then Jeff sits there and goes, look, and he's won 9 Tonys for this. First of all, I didn't know anything about stage lighting. I didn't know anything about puppets. I didn't know about, anything to do with stage building sets, doing this stuff. I had to tell people. Right. And I had to bring in people that were experts in that field to help me create my vision.
Right.
He's like, you can keep it inside because you're so worried about people stealing it. It'll never get out there. He said, I threw it out there. All of a sudden, we were putting it together. We were assembling it. People said, I know somebody who could do this. And 9 Tonys later. So it's just like, throw your idea out there. Don't worry about it. If somebody's going to steal it, that's their thing. They have to do all the work at it, But he had to bring in experts. He's like, right. I had no clue. I don't know what a lighting or sound director is. I write goofy puppet songs,
Well, that Lee Iacocca, one of his quotes was, I hire people brighter than me and I get out of their way.
Nice.
And that kind of is right up that alley. I mean, find the people that are good at those pieces and let them shine.
Right. I think the pastor T.D. Jakes says, if I'm the smartest man in this room, everybody is fired. Get out.
Nice.
Yeah. So when he has like a board meeting,
yeah,
that's what it is. You want smarter people than you, or better at something.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah, that's the point.
More knowledge in that position that they have in that
exactly.
field.
So that way, everybody is utilizing their expertise. But also, too, in talking about being prepared for market changes, it could be anything specific to the industry that you're in.
Right.
Like, I know for me, in the speaking industry, just a couple years ago, it's kind of been a shift about how people get paid in this industry. It used to just be you get hired, you go and you speak, and you get paid by that corporation. And then when the economy hit, people had to find new and innovative ways to get paid. Right. And the biggest way is by selling products. So instead of getting hired, getting paid, it's getting hired and then selling products to make money as opposed to the company paying you.
Right.
Because that was the only way they could bring people out.
Right. And the other thing is, though, now there's so many speakers. It's so much more competitive.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, even when performing, doing stand-up, you would get a premium amount going to a club. Once comedy went on TV, the whole industry was like, okay, I get to see All I Want for free on TV.
Right.
And so then you had to think, how do you still make money at it? Then colleges, it's like, let's do college events because they pay a lot better. And same thing with speaking. So whatever the trend is, what's changing, you have to really follow and see. So, and the internet, I mean, magazines, and you can go through everything, newspapers and stuff.
Right.
They're mostly online. Everybody's got some sort of tablet computer with them that they can look at their magazine. So print has gone out, and they had to change their whole format and everything to go on to the web. And a lot of these people were not technology based. They were printing presses.
Exactly.
Like they had factories of people printing out this paper. Now there's like a kid who just got out of college that puts the whole paper up online.
Right. Well, yeah, so it could be specific to your industry, the changes. So we're not necessarily going to talk about what those specific changes are to each industry, but general ways to prepare for them and be ready. So when things like that happen, you're prepared and your business can continue. Like, I know a lot of people in the speaking business who ended up getting out of it because of that change happening, because they didn't know what to do and they weren't ready for it. They didn't want to do it, and they left the business.
They get stuck.
Exactly.
The smartest thing to do is hire people that know how to go with that change, go with that flow.
Exactly.
If it goes to the technology world, hire the young kids that know how to get you online.
Right.
Follow it. And don't be scared of change. I mean, change is good.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, we've met some people and doing business coaching and stuff like that, but their whole conversation, we met somebody recently, was so negative about all the change and the new people and the young people that are taking over, that they were so resistant about accomplishing or creating anything new.
Right.
They were so parked and stuck in their way and just going, these people don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. And that's huge, because now the business, it's hard to get that business to go anywhere beyond where it is because of that.
Right.
If you're not going to follow with the market change and be ready for it and be willing to change with it. I mean, I know for me, I had this like slap me in the face a few years back when Facebook became popular beyond college and people were starting to use it more. I was like, yeah, right. What's this Facebook junk? I'm not going to do that. And I waited a bunch of years and finally got on it. And then I was like, well, why didn't I do this before? I've gotten so much more word of mouth and my name out there. And when I go places like, oh, hey, we're Facebook friends. I saw you here. I've seen, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. And so you can keep those connections better. And I had wished at the time, I wish I had started that earlier.
Right.
So, I mean, it was me not keeping up with the market, where changes were being made in technology.
No, it's a great point. And here's the other thing. You could sit still and sit there and complain constantly about the change. It's still going to go. It's still going to happen. You will be, in 2 years, you'll be in the same place,
right,
making the same complaints
of course,
about everything, instead of going, you know what, I better jump on this bandwagon because it's moving. It's leaving without me. Like the train is pulling out.
Right.
You can't sit there. It's like leaving somebody at a bus depot. Just an inside joke. But do you know what I mean? It's just like, and that's what people do. I find that they sit there and they will put as much energy to learn about the new thing by sticking there and complaining.
Right. And a lot of it too, though, is just because people are scared. Because what if I go in this direction and it's wrong? And Steve Jobs has a quote that says, sometimes when you try to be innovative, you might make mistakes. It's best to admit them quickly, get on, and improve your other innovations. So, I mean, it's okay to make that mistake if it's not the right way for your business, but then you need to make that change. But I think that's a big point. I mean, people will get stuck because of their being nervous or scared or
then the fear
unsure.
Well, because even...
that's why
the older
teams are going to be...
Yeah, but the older generation are so accustomed to doing things a certain way that it's just like this... So when some change in technology happens, it just blows them away. It goes. I mean, we were seeing Marshall Silver, and he was talking about he had somebody working for him, and he's like, the guy had a dial tone or something like that. He was waiting for a dial tone to dial out.
Right.
Like Marshall's like, you have to hit a 9, get the dial tone. They were on like a landline phone, and the guy's like, didn't know what that dial tone was.
Right. Yeah, but that's why surrounding yourself with a team, if it's something that you're afraid of or worried about, somebody else is more knowledgeable in that. So you can have the support and confidence behind the decisions that are made for your company. And so, I mean, even though it could be specific to your market and your industry that you're in, it could be overall, like when the economy hit. Not everybody was hit by the economy. It affected everybody, but it didn't affect some people as bad because they were prepared for it. Right. They were ready when it hit, and so they were able to weather through it. That's why there are businesses that went out of business, and there's businesses who stuck through it.
That thrived,
and that thrived in the end. So it could be any level of market change like that, but it's knowing how to be prepared.
And I think also the other thing is people don't want to believe in change. Do you know? But without change, I mean, there wouldn't be cures. They wouldn't be, I mean,
change
all the
is
naysayers,
always happening.
We wouldn't have electricity.
Exactly. Yeah. So depending on where you are with your business, whether it's a market change in your industry, it's an overall that's happening to the economy that can affect your company, there's different ways to be prepared. And when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about those, how people can start being prepared for when something does happen. And you are listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It, and we will be right back.
Ben Bella Books is a publishing boutique that aims to be the publisher of choice for a select group of authors. Authors who value personal attention, a partnership philosophy, flexibility, and a creative approach to marketing. Ben Bella Books is a fast-growing, market-focused publishing house whose success is based on a few simple principles. They select their titles with care. They provide their authors with first-class service and partnership. And they provide aggressive, creative marketing for each title they publish. Find out more at benbellabooks.com. BEN BellaBooks.com. And if you're a reader, check out the many great titles available at benbellabooks.com.
This is Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. Those of you that are listening, I encourage you to listen to Create It Now, because it will teach you how to live full and die empty, how to begin to manifest your greatness and make your mark.
Hey, it's Roxy from the 702 Rock Show, right here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. Listen to my show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about local artists, musicians, fashion designers, and more right here in Las Vegas. So tune in every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear me, Michelle Roxy Davis, right here at VANR on the 702 Rock Show.
Create It Now. Continues. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
You're listening to the Create It Now radio show, and we are here talking about how to be prepared for market changes. Lots of different types of market changes, but how to be prepared in general for them. And the first one is kind of easy, but it sounds like kind of an overwhelming task, though, is really to just make sure you're keeping your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. Being aware of it, know informed. It, learn about it, you know? Right. That can be hard to do.
No, absolutely.
But at the same time, that's so important. I mean, big companies have departments that keep track of that stuff.
Well, also, like we said earlier, it's like wanting to know. Mm-hmm. You know, me, I am like a research junkie, but that's just me because I'm addicted to it. I mean, like we were talking about yesterday, I stubbed my toe. I got to find out if my leg's going to fall off.
Right, exactly.
But I'm always looking at the news and trying to keep my pulse. And not the news where I try to find the news from other countries and stuff, because a lot of times I find the news out here, it's like people's opinions. Mm-hmm. And so I like to try to find the news and then keep the pulse and hear what people are saying and blogging about things like that. And I think blogs are really important about.
Absolutely.
You know, so hear what the everyday average person is, what their feelings are about something.
Right. Yeah, because the more you know about your industry, about different aspects, the easier it's going to be for you to make a decision when something comes up or when a change needs to happen. If you don't really know what's going on and maybe like a market change is happening, now you have to take the time to find out all this research and you're going to be behind the pulse, you know? So knowing it ahead of time before anything happens. And what's interesting is in real estate, when the economy hit, it was interesting to see like Robert Kiyosaki and some other big names who knew it was already coming.
Right.
They knew way ahead of time that it was going to happen. The bubble was going to burst, and they were prepping themselves for that because they kept their finger on the pulse. Other investors that were just thinking, oh, you know what? Let me get into this. Let me go ahead and start investing because everybody's doing it. They weren't ready for it because they weren't keeping that information at hand. And so that's who got hit most in that real estate bubble when it happened and whatnot.
But a lot of people that thought they knew also got hit. I mean,
oh, absolutely. Everybody got hit in a way, definitely. But it was a smaller impact because they were always keeping track of what was happening in their market. They were always on top of what was going on and what could happen and when. and
Right.
they had all that research at hand at all times.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were just in denial that it was going to happen. I mean, they were
Absolutely.
warned.
And that's part
People
of
were
the
being
scared.
warned. Yeah.
That's part of being afraid of change. Like, oh no, it's not going to happen. I don't need to make a change. Nothing will go wrong. That's a big piece of that.
Right.
And then when it does happen, we're surprised.
Yeah. We're surprised.
Yeah,
That's all right.
exactly.
Yeah, you pretend to be surprised. Like,
Right.
I never knew. I didn't see this coming.
What?
And people were like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the boy who cried wolf.
Right. Exactly. So you got to be careful about that and just always be aware. Always be learning about your subject, about your topic, like what industry you're in. Just always learn what's going on in the world as well as with your competitors. What is happening?
Right.
Just know it at all times. One of the
Because, well, that comes back to saying, I always say, like for a box or something, but if you're not trained in, somebody's trained in to beat you at all the time.
Yes.
So you need to know what's going on. Because it's like if somebody even makes cookies, somebody wants to make the better cookie. You got to
Right.
find out what your competitors are doing, what
Yeah.
they're offering.
always know. Yeah, and one thing I always teach people about Google Alerts because that's a
Right.
great way that in internet research for it to come to you instead of you go find it. Where if
Right.
you go to www.google.com/alerts, you can put it in with keywords. So you can put your competitor's name in, and then anytime something new shows up on the internet, Google will email you and tell you there's a new website that's talking about this keyword that you gave. And so it's a great way so that you don't have to continue to do the research. It can come to you. And so
Right.
I do it with my industry, and every Friday I get 3 emails from Google about 3 different topics 3 different keywords that I've put in.
Nice.
And so every Friday I get my news. I go and check out those websites. I know what's going on, something new that's been put up. And so it keeps me abreast of
Keeps
everything.
you in the loop and what's
Yeah.
going on.
So
Current.
instead of
keeps you current, which
Yeah,
is very important to me.
Exactly. And so instead of going, oh, you know what? I haven't checked out this in, 3 weeks. It comes to me, and sometimes I even forget, and then all of a sudden
Right.
it shows up. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So it's kind of a great way to do it so that it can, a piece, one way to help you continue
Right.
to research and find out
And I
more.
believe there's another one, Google/trends.
Oh, yeah,
It'll actually
trends as
tell
well.
you what's trending
Yep.
now.
Exactly.
And you can put in your industry.
Yes,
So, or people's names or whatever, and you could see who's
Right.
at the top of the industry.
exactly. So you can keep track of it as well that way. So it's nice that we have the internet and the technology now
Free tools.
to help us.
People
Yeah.
used to have to pay millions of
Right, to
dollars
get
for
this
this
in.
information.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this market research is right there now, which is pretty incredible. Any kind of company you want to start,
right.
or even if you're a pre-existing company,
And you're thinking
can
about going
find
certain
out.
ways. Yeah, I can see
Right.
what the trend is doing.
see
Yeah,
what'll work prior to.
Right.
And it's all free. I mean, all these resources are out there.
right. And what goes along with that is the next way of being prepared is to keep experimenting. So if you see something happening, maybe a trend coming, experiment with it. See if your customers would enjoy that. See if your employees would get on board with that. Start finding things out.
Try things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
if
then-
it doesn't work, you stop it.
exactly.
Don't be scared to try
Right.
something new.
But the only way to know if it's working is if you track your results.
Right.
It's great to experiment with new things and see if new things work for you, but you're not going to really know unless you track those results. So you need to make sure you're doing that part as well.
And I think what's key too is learn your customer.
Right.
Actually ask them questions.
Yeah,
If you're
absolutely.
what could we do better? What do you love about us?
Always.
Would you come back? I think little surveys and stuff and then giving people rewards for that is pretty good. But also just, if you have a customer, you have some sort of service, call them afterwards. Have somebody else call and say, hey, what did you think of this? What would you have changed? Get that feedback.
And you can also do that through emails. I mean, there's
Right.
different SurveyMonkey is one. You can do a questionnaire and have them fill it out. And that's good to do all the time, not just when you're thinking about making a change
right,
or
in
trying
general.
out
That's
something
what I
new.
meant.
Yeah, always do that. Because if you are listening to your customers, you're going to make sure you're going in the right direction because your customers are who runs your business, really.
Exactly.
They're the boss of the business. If they're not going to buy, then you don't have a business.
Yeah. Customer service is so important.
Yeah.
And people forget about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And especially during the economy now. And like this weekend's going to be crazy. Black Friday coming up. So it's just going to be a madhouse in retail.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, So making sure, there's one.
I'm talking about being prepared.
Right, being prepared, absolutely. But making sure you're staying with that customer in front of, and knowing what they want, because otherwise, you don't exist.
Yeah,
you're gonna go down.
Because if your competition offers them something better, even just a smile,
right?
Something as simple as that.
Yeah.
They could go there, remember somebody's name.
Yes.
Because I know how important it is. Like if I go into a restaurant or if I go in to a dry cleaner and they remember my name, I'm like, I'll always go back. They can like burn my shirt. And I'll pretty much always go back because it'll be like, they remembered my name. I'm important to them.
Right. Well, one of the things that my dad does every time he goes to a restaurant, he always asks the waiter or waitress their name, and then he'll respond with his name. And he doesn't tell them that that's what he's doing, but he does it to see if they remember his name.
Right.
And if the waiter or waitress remembers his name, he's more apt to give a better tip because he feels that customer service is a big piece of it. So he'll just introduce himself, not saying, now you need to remember my name, but he just introduces himself and sees if they use it, if they actually were listening to him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So customers are our biggest.
So he rewards them.
Yeah.
For putting in that extra effort.
Extra effort, exactly. He gives them the information and then yeah, absolutely.
To see what they do with it.
Right.
How they process it.
Exactly.
Nice.
And that's another way to stay prepared is make sure you're taking care of those existing customers so that if a change exactly, if a change has to happen or something happens in the market, the economy again, they will stick with you because of that customer service they had. If you haven't been taking care of them, why should they stick around?
Right, exactly.
So you want to make sure you're working with those existing customers.
Especially if you're a little mom and pop shop as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you go there, and I'm pretty new to Vegas, but back in New York, and then I've lived in LA, but in New York, you'd go, there'd be little bodegas, which are little corner markets.
Right.
And everybody knew everybody's name, and you'd be a regular there, and it's just nice and you want to support those people.
Right.
So if people, you start saying their name and greet them, they're going to want to support you and help you and help you grow and help you succeed. And you could be like, oh, my God, I opened another store. They'll be so happy.
Right.
I'll tell my friends.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, that's actually also really huge, too, in any network marketing or relationship marketing companies, because the little things are what the customers remember. Right. So, like, if you know information about them, like what their birthday was or what their anniversary was, and a card is sent, like, wow, they remembered,
Exactly. Well, I got to say one thing. I mean, this is actually what happened, but with Lexmark, talk about customer service.
Yeah.
I was helping you with your printer the other day, and you were really busy doing stuff, so I called in and then got on the phone with them, and then you gave them your information. And your printer was broken. Within 1 day, they had sent you a new printer, and this was like a 3-year-old printer.
2 years.
2 years old.
Yep.
But they said, and I went online and they said a 5-year warranty behind it. And they said that within 24 hours, the new printer was delivered.
And there's no argument on the phone.
That's the only company I would ever get a printer from now.
Yeah, and there was no argument on the phone. A lot of times you have trouble with customer service when you call into places. It was just what's going on with it. What's the serial number? Okay, we'll send out a new one. And it showed up the next day.
And I seriously told at least 5 people.
Have you?
Yeah,
nice.
Because I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting.
It was FedEx.
Something
they paid
small.
For shipping.
It didn't even happen to you personally.
Right.
It was to me, yet it's impressive to you. So, I mean, when the fact that I got a brand new printer for free, it's replaced my old one.
And they paid the shipping. And they're paying for shipping for you to send it back.
Send the other one back. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go tell people that.
Yeah. I will only get a Lexmark now.
See? You're welcome.
Unless Hewlett Packard wants to sponsor us.
Right. Then we'll talk. But yeah, so, and actually that kind of goes into one of the other ways of being prepared, and that's to watch your cash flow.
Right.
And when we come back from our break, we're going to go in depth a little bit more of how to do that. You are listening to the Create It Now radio show, and make sure you find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It, and check out the website, www.createitnowmedia.com, and we will be right back.
The best television isn't on television. It's on the internet. Log on to realwisdomtv.com for thousands of hours of motivational and inspiring content. On demand, all the time. Unlike network television with its sex, drugs, and rock and roll, realwisdomtv.com provides wellness, wealth, and wisdom. From how to read faster to creating greater wealth, realwisdomtv.com is for you. The learning never stops, and neither does realwisdomtv.com. Log on now to realwisdomtv.com.
We're blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We've got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free. And they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road and Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there. Be there. Be there.
My name is Brandon Shia, and you're listening to Create It Now.
Those who can do. This is Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show where Jonathan Stone and myself, Dawn Elizabeth, we are talking about being prepared for market changes with our business. And we've talked about making sure you keep your finger on the pulse, experiment, find new ideas, and test those results so that you can make sure you know what's working and what isn't, as well as taking care of your existing customers and keeping that customer service going with them. So when something does happen, they're willing to stick with you through the hard times.
Right. I just wanted to say something. I think being in integrity is very important too with customer service. If you tell somebody that, if somebody comes in for a repair, say, and you say it'll be done Tuesday, but if it's not going to be done, I think you should call the people. Communication is so key.
Absolutely.
Because I know I've shown up and they're like, oh, I can't find it. And then you sit there and you're bummed out because you're looking for it. You made a trip down there. You take time out of your day.
Right.
Always keep in communication. And if you fix it earlier, call your,
right. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if it's something, it kind of goes back to the being afraid of and things like that. But if something's not going well for, if you're helping a customer out and you can't help them or you don't have the answer in the time frame you said, then let them know that. Because I know for me personally, I'd rather know that you don't know and you can't help me, right, so I can get somewhere faster and get it done, but I'm going to come back to you for something else. Like, for example, with my car, when I had car issues, took it to a dealer, not a dealer, but a shop, and he told me exactly what was wrong. And he said, you know what, it's going to be more expensive if I do it for you. You should take it somewhere else. And so I did. And then I went back to him afterwards and said, could you check everything else on my car? Because I want to give him that business, that he did that instead of just... He was integrity and completely honest. Exactly. So it's a huge... It goes a long way, even if at the moment you're not making that money on that sale or whatnot. Know you can go back because you trust the guy. Exactly. And when you went back again, he wouldn't charge you. Yeah, again. I know. He's like, you're just trying to get me to charge you. And I was like, yes, do something. So, yeah, he still didn't charge me. I need to go back. But you'll go back again. Yes, exactly. So, but at least now I know when I'll need to go back. Right. But yeah, so I mean, just knowing that he is being honest with me and in integrity. Yeah, communication, it's so important. The customer is your business. Yeah. I mean, that's where you're extracting cash from. And let's be honest. I mean, that's what it is. Yep. You want to give the best value. I mean, like Apple products. I'm a big Apple fan, and they are more expensive. But I know if I break my phone, I go into an Apple store, I will walk out with another one. Right. I had my Apple computer, my PowerBook, and I had my Wi-Fi went dead. And so I brought it in, and they didn't have the Wi-Fi piece there. So it actually took them a couple weeks. But I called them, and I'm like, come on, people, even though I had a couple of other Apples, but
I'm like, oh, you can make me, I'm a week without a Mac and what's going on. They felt so bad. They're like, go into the store, tell us what store you want to go to. They called the manager, and they said I could pick out any computer I wanted out of the store.
Nice.
Any laptop. And they gave me the 17-inch, my full-blown, and it was like a 3-year warranty, so it was probably at 2 years, 10 months, and the Wi-Fi just went.
Yeah.
But because they didn't make that motherboard anymore or something like that,
right?
They let me pick out any computer I wanted.
Nice.
And they felt so bad that they lost it then. And it was just like 2 weeks, and they felt, it's terrible.
Right. And so they made up for it.
Said,
they made you have
any one you want. And I could have taken a towel or
right.
anything. They said, take any computer you want out of our store.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have different stories along those lines, but those are the ones that we remember, and those are the places we want to go back. I've had things like that at restaurants where things are slow, so they bring extra food, something free, and those are the stories you tell people. You're going to tell them the really bad stories and the really good stories. Which would you rather people tell about your company?
But you could have, what we talk about too, is like you can have 50 good Yelps and 1 negative.
Right.
And that 1 negative is what people are going to look at.
Yeah. Warren Buffett says it takes 20 years to build a reputation and only 5 minutes to ruin it. So if you think about that, you're going to start to do things differently.
Yeah, and you got to live that.
Yes, exactly.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. I think it's really simple.
Absolutely.
If you want good customer service, you want to be treated well, then treat your customers like that, and they'll come back. You could say it's a karma thing or whatever it may be, but think what would make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
But
along that line, though, too, you need to also make sure what we said before the break is watch your cash flow. Right. So you can't just be giving everything away for free all the time, but you can find other ways to help that customer or to give them something without necessarily cutting into your cash flow. Because you need to make sure you have a positive cash flow as opposed to a negative coming into the business.
Right. But I think it also goes, you want to make that company feel like they want to spend money with you compared to somebody else.
Right. You don't want.
Why should they spend their hard-earned money with you?
Right.
Compared to somebody else. That's what you got to figure out. Is your product superior, or is it the same thing? Or is your customer service better? Do you treat them better? Do you remember their name?
Right.
Those little details that make a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that is huge. And then, but on the flip side, you need to make sure that you're not doing it as a deficit to your company, because then you're not going to be around anymore. So you do need to make sure you're watching how the money's coming in and how the money's going out. And I'm not saying doing it to be cheap, but do it so that you have those reserves, so that you have money built up. So if something happens, or maybe the economy changes, you can be able to hold out through that, and while you're figuring out what the next step is. So you got to make sure you're always paying attention to it, not just spend, and then go, oh, let me check now. I have quarterly, and it's not what you expected. So you do want to make sure that you are really paying attention to it. What was that?
For the lean times.
Yes. So I think that's really big if you're going to weather through these market changes when they do happen, is being prepared and ready for them.
Right. And sometimes they just come. But I completely agree. And I think it's really important that, to follow what's going on, and to, there are lean times and there's good times, but always be promoting your business and pushing it out there. And like I said, even a smile makes a huge difference, and remembering somebody's name.
Yeah. There's creative ways to use customer service, even marketing, so that you're not putting as many dollars forward. There's definitely ways to do it.
Well, to me, I think word of mouth is more powerful than advertisement.
Yeah.
If somebody comes and recommends a place, I will go there before I will see an ad on TV to go to a place.
Right. Because you've heard it.
Yeah.
You trust that person. And so you're going to go to that business over something you don't know.
Right. Well, just look at this thing we just talked about with Lexmark.
Mm-hmm.
I will now get a Lexmark. I will tell everybody to get a Lexmark.
Right.
Because they stood behind their product. And, unless, again, Hewlett-Packard wants to sponsor. No, but... and then people will listen to me, and not because it's me, but if they're going to go, I'm going to get a new printer, I'm like, check this out. This is what happened with Lexmark. They send a new one. First thing they're going to do is they're going to go look for a Lexmark.
Yeah. And see if it's right for them.
If you see a TV commercial that's like, get a Lexmark, we're better, we're this, be like, yeah, but
Yeah,
this
because you're
person,
tooting your own
has
horn
this name.
as opposed to a third party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So word of mouth is important. That's why customer service is so
Yeah.
important.
Having those third party testimonials are big. That's a lot more beneficial to your company than you going out and tooting your own horn about it. Absolutely. And so another way to really help you through the market changes is also to build good relationships with your employees.
Absolutely. Communication.
Yes.
Again.
Making sure that you're utilizing their what they're good at, but also just making sure that they realize they're appreciated.
Right.
You know, I mean, even just surprise them with, you know, you're doing a great job. Here's a gift certificate to a restaurant.
Yeah, no, definitely. I used to have a company, and what we would do is every Friday bring in food.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, a company that I worked with here in town, they do that every Friday. They have food for everybody. Right. They also have somebody come in and give them a massage once a month for free.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So, but just something to show that they're appreciated.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, that those things can go a long way. And the better the relationship is with that employee when things are happening, and they're willing to step up.
Right.
They're willing to help more. They're willing to, because they believe in the company.
Well, here's the thing. A happy workplace makes a huge difference. If somebody's happy to go into work, they're going to be more proactive and make things happen. If somebody's miserable to go into work, I mean, you know, it's going to show up in their work.
Yeah.
They're going to be miserable. They're going to be down. People are going to want to talk to them. If you make people feel good, like basically it's a party, like it's not work, this is fun, and we're all growing together, it's going to make a huge difference. Like that's why Google, I mean, if you look at Google, it's like they play, but they get so much accomplished.
Same thing with Zappos.
Exactly. Tony Hsieh, I mean, great example. It's a party, but they're being proactive.
Right. Absolutely. And also, too, like even companies and places that help with more education, they'll help with the tuition or with putting you in the right place so that you can learn, or they have in-house trainings and give you more so that you can continue to better yourself.
Well, that's what you do. You go around to different corporations to speak, to teach people, because those corporations want to empower, enlighten, and better their employees.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you own a business and you have employees, you want to make sure that you're hiring them slowly but firing them fast, meaning that when you're hiring, being specific as to who you're hiring. Make sure they're on the same page, they want the same mission, they have the same vision. And then on the opposite side, the flip side about firing fast is if there's a negative person, if there's somebody that's kind of a cancer in the organization or not doing their job, get rid of them quickly.
Right.
Don't wait around and let that fester inside of the business.
Yeah, for so many people, it's so hard to fire somebody.
Yeah.
They usually have other people do it. Yeah, nobody ever likes to do that, though.
Of course not.
But there's times, and you're right.
If it needs to be done, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for the business.
And it becomes infectious.
Yes.
You know, and one person, then
Misery
other people don't want to show
company.
up. Yeah, like Les Brown would say, though, more heart attacks happen Monday morning between like 8 and 10 a.m. because people are going to work. They're miserable that people have heart attacks on Monday more than any other day.
That's not good.
No.
Yeah,
no.
so you want to make
we
sure
only
that
do the shows on Tuesday,
exactly.
Wednesday, Thursday.
No heart attacks here. Yeah, so you just want to make sure that you're hiring the right people and you're keeping a good relationship with them, great communication, so that when things start to happen, they're with you and they're able to continue with you and help you, and you know you have the quality people with you to help you get through those
and
changes.
share your accolades and things that you've accomplished with them. So if you guys hit your numbers, take them out to celebrate or congratulate them, even a high five, or just even going up and saying thank you. You know what, I appreciate you. It really goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Just the little things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
Don't hide behind the office and be like the power person.
Right.
Just go there and say, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Pat somebody on the back. It's just, people don't do that anymore. It's communication. And you don't have to just send an email to say, I appreciate you. Just walk up. It's that much more important.
Right.
You know, because you can hide behind a desk and type up, oh, you know, you're doing a great job. I mean, it feels good to get those. But if somebody actually came up to you and just said, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you're doing for this company.
Absolutely.
You feel really good.
Yeah, definitely. And so we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors by letting them speak. You're listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It. And if you would like a free business shout out, check out the website, www.createitnowmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. This is New Media Vegas, your Sin City webmasters in Las Vegas, Nevada.
More than just web design, complete integrated marketing with inspired innovations in delivery of your new media message, putting the groove and the backbeat back in your brand.
The hottest in design trends with the latest innovations in marketing techniques. Call New Media Vegas at 702-517-0184.
Or visit us online at www.newmediavegas.com. Don't forget to check out our online magazine, Sin City Presents, featuring business, technology, fashion, dining, and entertainment news.
702-517-0184. 702-517-0184.
Would you agree Oprah, Les Brown, and Richard Branson are very successful? But what did it take for them to get there?
What drove them to success?
Hello, I am Dawn Elizabeth.
And I'm Jonathan Stone with the Create It Now radio show. We're going to be following the journeys of some of the world's greatest thought leaders and what it took for them to become successful. And we want to help you with your journey.
Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. on KLAV AM 1230. Or find out more at www.createitnowmedia.com.
Hey, this is Danny Vegas, and let me tell you something. When you're ready to stop dreaming and start doing, you need to tune in to my friends at Create It Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, quit dreaming and start doing.
Welcome back to Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in with us, we're having a conversation about how to be prepared for market changes with your business. And if you want to re-listen to the broadcast, you can do so tonight at 11 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com or find the archive version at www.createitnowmedia.com. So we're talking about being prepared for the market changes, and we talked about 6 different ways to make sure you're prepared. First one being keeping your finger on the pulse. Second one is to experiment, try new things, try new trends. Go with those trends, try to jump on those ahead of time and test those results out. Another one is to watch your cash flow and also take care of your employees and take care of your customer base. So as changes have to occur, they'll all stick with you. And so I think it's a great way to, if you can continue to do these all the time, that when market changes happen, you're already prepared. It's not a slap in the face.
Yes, great. Now, always be prepared.
Definitely. And one of the quotes that I really love from Henry Ford is, when everything seems to be going against you, remember that airplanes take off against the wind, not with it.
That's a great quote.
Absolutely. Just to think about that, it's okay to go against what we seem is going against other things, but it's going to work out.
Pushing forward.
You need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes that fear jumps in, but it's okay. It's okay to be scared. You just need to be, if you have that knowledge base and the right people around you and you're prepared for it, you're going to be able to get through it in a positive way.
Right. No, it's a great thing about keep pushing forward. No matter how hard the wind's blowing, you'll make it to your destination.
Yes.
Might take you a little longer.
Right.
But you're going to get there.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think we had some helpful tips today for people about making sure those market trends. Well. And we did it before a big market trend or market change has happened. So we're preparing everybody ahead of time, which is nice. So we're ready. So it's just a matter of making sure you're ready for it when it does happen, whether it's specific to your industry or it happens to the entire world. Like sometimes when things happen in Europe, it can affect different industries here in the United States. So you just being ready.
And it's okay to go out and start a trend.
Absolutely.
Create something new.
Create your own trend, definitely.
Exactly. You don't have to sit there and wait for other people's trends.
Right. You want to be ahead of those trends, so start your own.
Well, I've heard that if you follow a trend, then you've already missed it.
Yes, absolutely. If it's already happening, it was kind of a real estate thing. I think it was Warren Buffett who had said that he never goes along with what the market's doing. He always does the opposite, because that when the majority of people are doing it, the trend's already over.
Right.
And so he needs to jump on a new trend. And then when everybody's on board with that, he moves to another trend. But he also can do that because he's always keeping that finger on the pulse. He has teams with him that are making sure they know what's going on at all times so that they can kind of predict what those trends are. Are they always correct? Probably not. But they can at least move forward and go to another one.
He's a brilliant man, Warren Buffett. Do you know he's only sent one email in his whole life? I mean, he has secretaries now that do. He said he sent out one email and it ended up in court. So he's never
He's never doing another one.
He's never done another email. He still has he carries a wallet, the original wallet. He drives.
He lives in his
normal
original
cars.
house, doesn't he?
Yeah, original house.
Yeah. I've heard an interview with his son, and it was interesting to hear how they grew up and how their life was, even though their father was at the time millionaire. And so
he has just recently I saw him in an interview, and he pulled out his cell phone. And
it's
he had
phone, right?
one of the flip phones with the buttons on it still. No texting, no nothing. He's just like,
no touch
that's all he
screen.
does. But he loves the phone. He doesn't want to talk on the phone and do a deal. He's a handshake guy. Most of his deals, pretty much all of his deals are done on a handshake.
Nice. Why not, right? It works. If it works for you, do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we also want to say, because we have Thanksgiving tomorrow, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. So we want to say thank you to Ben Bella Books. You can find them at benbellabooks.com. Also, Full Circle Couture, which is FFC, fullcirclecouture.com. And New Media Vegas, newmediavegas.com. Thank you guys for teaming up with us and being a part of the Create It Now radio show. And we really love doing business with you guys and want to continue doing that business. So thank you very much.
Yeah. And we want to thank Mike here. Who
Absolutely.
always puts up with us.
He does.
Keeps the show rolling.
Yes. And say thank you to Lawrence as well.
Yeah.
Here at the
whole
station.
Team here.
The whole team at the station's been amazing. So thank you so much for having us here and letting us grow. Yes. And
that was a visual.
It was. You needed to see that. I'm sorry. That was more visual. We need to re-recording.
Her arms were stretched out with love.
They were. I was trying to hug the whole station at once. It just didn't work. I tried, though.
We felt it.
Yeah. Okay, good. So thank you, everybody. And
we want to wish everybody an amazing Thanksgiving and just safe travels.
Yes.
And have a brilliant
Enjoy
weekend.
your families. Even though we're all in business, take a day to reflect. Take the day to enjoy everybody around you and get back to business on Friday.
Exactly.
And make sure you come back and listen to us next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be rebroadcasting tomorrow during Thanksgiving. And it will be the show with Kathy Denton, who is from Full Circle Couture. Amazing organization. So make sure you check that out if you didn't hear it. Re-listen tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Right. And she's changing her store a little bit.
Absolutely.
She's actually working with teachers. If you're a teacher and you go to Kathy's store now, you get 25% off.
Yes. Yeah. She wants to make sure she helps support the teachers out there giving back. She used to be a teacher herself, and so she wants to make sure she's helping out all her colleagues in the community. So you are listening to the Create It Now radio show, and we rebroadcast tonight at 11 p.m. on Vegas All Net Radio, and we air live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. right here on KLAV. So we will be back, and dream big, take action, and create it now.
Have an amazing Thanksgiving.